Hello and welcome to another video from the only channel that you need to not only survive the current apocalypse but actually enjoy it. And today's video is going to be an announcement about things that are going on with Sustenance and Covering that you're not going to find here on YouTube. It's the same announcement I made probably a year ago, but this time things are a little bit different. I have already told everybody that I have a Facebook page and that I've got a website. But back when I said that, a whole lot of people went there to see what it was about, and it really wasn't about nothing. We had set up the basics. We had a website, we had a Facebook page, but it was pretty much blank. So if you went there, you would see that there were tabs that said photos, videos, text documents, podcasts. But if you clicked on any of that, there wasn't anything there other than some things that Ala Toledo, my friend, put there to make sure that the website worked properly, and it did. So I guess a while back we did a podcast, and Usamas went ahead and posted it to the Facebook page, and we got about 50 people there, and we were able to see that even if we had 50 people there, everything worked perfectly. We weren't bogged down, so things are working good on a very, very basic level. But now we're ready to go ahead and test it out for real. We've got quite a bit on there now because I think we've posted 10 different podcasts. And a while back somebody went on the site and they searched for PDF files or survival PDFs or whatever, and that's a direct reference to a video I made a few years ago where I had talked about a bunch of PDFs that I had collected about everything from how to make fire with 2 sticks to how to translate ancient Bible Hebrew into modern English. So there's all kinds of stuff that a person in this little community might be interested in available there. And in fact, with the PDFs, I think we have over 2,000 PDFs, and 70 of those are complete Bibles. You know, we've got Bible encyclopedias, dictionaries, we've got stuff about how to skin animals, how to catch fish, how to plant trees. But 70 of those PDFs are individual Bibles, like everything from King James to the Message Remix. So there's every kind of Bible you can imagine. And they're there, and the podcasts are there. And now if you go back and if you go to it and you look at the podcast, listen to them, you may notice that we are getting a little bit better at it every week. But if you can't, those of us who are producing it, myself, Ala Toledo, and Usamas, are seeing a difference. We're starting to grow. We're starting to understand how to interact, how to get the recordings actually made, because even that's a big deal. The podcast are not live. For what I understand, if you know, I was told just a couple of weeks ago, that's not a podcast, that's a recording. Podcast is where you go on every week at the same time and you invite people to talk about different subjects, and some people even allow it to be open mic, so anybody who calls in can be part of the podcast. I don't see us ever doing that, and the reason being that we tried something like that a few years back, and you know, the things that are spoken of on Sustenance and Covering are very volatile issues, and it's almost impossible to do any kind of a live broadcast where people are allowed to just freely participate in something like that, because it always turns into some kind of ordeal. So we don't think that's ever going to happen. However, we are playing with the idea of inviting different listeners to participate in the podcast on a weekly basis. Currently, the way we're addressing that is that we have a place where you can send in any kind of listener questions. We'll read over them, and then we address those questions in the next podcast. So it's not like you're there on a microphone, but you can be there by simply typing in some kind of a question. And in fact, I usually will interact with people who ask questions several times before we do the podcast, because I want to make sure that I'm understanding exactly what the listener is asking. Doesn't always work, but so far we haven't produced anything we're ashamed of, and we're actually starting to get kind of excited about the stuff we're producing. Now, another thing that has recently happened that I've been trying to get to happen for years is that my wife now has a YouTube channel called Living with Sustenance and Covering. Now, I'm going to explain to you a few things about why that came about and how it came about, just so you can have a general idea in your head of what to expect and what I expect of those who take part in this. I was sleeping out here in a tent. I've been sleeping out in a tent for a long time, and I know I had no business doing that because my wife has a lot of medical problems, including ones that are psychological, and she really needs to have somebody kind of watching over her all the time. But I'm just one man. I don't have any resources outside of myself, so I couldn't get somebody to come in here and just sit with her or whatever. But I had to have time off from that. So I'd come out here in the tent, and one day it was a bad storm. I went in the house and a tree fell on the tent. Well, I repaired the tent, but before I could get moved back into it, my wife had a seizure. Now, she's been having seizures since she was very young. I've witnessed a few of them, and every single one I witnessed scared me, but at the same time, it always happened when my wife was laying down or sitting down, and so there were no injuries. It's just she would have a seizure. But the last seizure she had, she was standing up when it happened, and she fell hard, and she could have been seriously injured, and it got me worried. And since then, I don't stray too far away from her. So it takes a lot of my time, and it results in, well, a whole lot of my time ends up being invested in that. And, and because I'm around her all the time, I kind of am exposed to a lot of emotional chaos that I was able to escape from before. And so I'm looking for ways to kind of mitigate that, but this is something I've been looking into for 30 years, and I haven't ever found any way to cure it or any kind of a permanent solution. But I've always thought that if I could get my wife interested in something other than just me, that would take away a lot of the time that I have to devote to like entertaining her, you know, because she can get agitated very easily, and it's not like anything that can be done to make that stop. So I guess probably back when I first started Sustenance and Covering, I tried to involve my wife in my channel, and I was using her to come out and hold the camera for me while I was talking, and then I tried to hold the camera and put her in front of the camera and get her talking. But at every single time she didn't like it. She didn't want to do it. She fought against it, and it didn't seem to be going anywhere, and so I dropped it. Well, I also set up a Facebook page for her at the time, and she would have nothing to do with it. You know, I was posting some of the pictures she took and making comments to people that I knew that she knew, and she would not even go look at it. But that all changed. We went to a class reunion from my high school. My wife and I went to high school together, and a couple of people there were very nice to her. And one of them said something about, "Are you on Facebook?" And I was there, and I said, "Yeah, she's on Facebook." Well, she wasn't. She had a Facebook page, as I said. I was on Facebook. But my wife was interested. She was really happy. She seemed to be very happy talking to this person. And so when we got home, I got her in her chair in front of her laptop, and she started accumulating friends because it was the high school reunion. So it was, you know, a whole lot of high school people were starting to interact with each other. So even if she went to just her friend's page, she would see her friend interacting with all these other friends. And sure enough, in a short amount of time, she had about 100 friends, I guess. I don't know what she has, because I haven't been to that page in a long time to check on it, but she enjoys it, and she's on there every now and then. And so, about a month ago, you know, my wife is taking videos all the time. I mean, every time I look, she's taking, and a lot of her videos are just photographs. She'll go out and point at a tree and press the button twice. And I'm like, you know, you've got a camera that takes stills. You don't really need to do that. When you take a 1-second video, it's better to take a still. But I'm trying to get her to where she understands that. And some of the stuff that she does is very good. So she was in there videotaping me making gumbo about a month ago. And when she got done, she asked me to put the video on her computer for her. So I took it and I put it on her computer. But I put it on my computer too. And I kind of edited it together. And I posted it on my channel. And every day I would say, look at what these people are saying about your video. And so after about a week of that, she was hooked. You know, she wanted me to start posting everything that she videoed, which is impossible because I downloaded all the videos on her hard drive or laptop. It's like 1,000. And I'm not kidding. There's like 1,000 photographs and videos. So I'm going through them, and sure enough, about 500 of them are completely out of focus. You can't even tell what they are. But a lot of it's good stuff. So I'm putting it into folders, and I'm editing it together, and I have so far edited a few of them. And I have started her YouTube page. And I haven't, with her, I've told her she has a YouTube page, but I also told her it wasn't turned on yet. So every day she asks me about her YouTube page, and I say, I haven't turned it on yet. And a lot of that is I didn't want anything to happen that could cause her any kind of emotional pain, because she doesn't handle that very well. So I've been struggling with trying to figure out how to get emails sent directly to her to tell her when people are commenting on her videos, but also so that the emails come directly to me so that I can check them out first and delete them if they're bad comments, because I don't want her to get some kind of thing like I get with Sustenance and Covering. And sure enough, the video that I posted, I think it's got over 400 views. I know it does, because like every day, I mean even today, it's been a month, every day my wife comes to me and he goes, guess what? What? 436. Oh wow, is that how many's on your video now? Yep. You know, the next day, guess what? What? 437. So she watches that. She's really, really excited about it. But she got 2 thumbs down. And I thought for sure this was going to be the end. I was really worried that I was going to have to shut the whole thing down. And she kept talking about it, like all day. She's talking about those 2 thumbs down. So what I did, and this is brilliant, you know, I'm very brilliant. I went ahead and showed her some video I made. And it was about chickens. I don't remember if it was the Chicken House Essentials or Chicken Psychology or whatever. It was some kind of video I posted about chickens that had like 100 thumbs down. And I said, I sure wish I could get a video that only had 2 thumbs down. And she was so calmed by that. And I don't think she made another comment about the thumbs downs when I showed her those 100 thumb down on my video. So anyway, I have got her a YouTube channel set up. So in the description box below this video, you'll see a link to my wife's new YouTube channel, and you'll see a link to the Facebook page, and you'll see a link to my website, along with direct links to the podcast and direct links to, I don't know, the PDF files. I'll put enough links on there that you can get to the site, and then you can navigate around and figure out what you want to look at. Now, one of the things about my wife having a YouTube channel, if this works out, and I'm really hoping it does, you know, I'm really praying that I can do something to entertain her, to kind of keep her mind active, and not just sitting around thinking about every bad thing in the universe. But, you know, a lot of times I'll come out here and do stuff, and I know people are interested in what I do. Because this is the kind of life that a lot of people dream about. You know, I dream about having this life here. I actually have dreams about this life, just a little bit different than it is. So I imagine there's a lot of people that just dream about it exactly as it is. But if I'm coming out here to mow the grass, I'm not going to set up a tripod and a camera and audio equipment and all to do that. But you know, my wife follows me around when I'm mowing grass, and she watches me when I'm cooking, and she watches me when I'm repairing things. I just, you know, got finished like strip cleaning the tool room in my house, and she was there every day videotaping me sorting out screws and repairing tools and taking things out of the room and ripping the walls out, ripping the ceiling out. So, you know, if you're interested in seeing the kind of stuff I do when I'm not making Bible videos, that might be the only place left to see that, because it's easy for me to just live my life and let her follow me around. It's a lot easier than having to follow myself around. And something else I feel a little uncomfortable talking about, but which I think is a really important thing for y'all to understand, is I made a video a while back saying that I cannot, you know, I had so many people asking, when are you going to make a video, when are you going to make a video? And I said, I can't produce videos because I don't have a computer, but I'm really close. I got about $350 in my bank account, and so this month I may be able to order a new computer. Once I get a computer, I'll be able to edit video, and then I'll start posting videos. Well, what happened is that my lawnmower blew up, and I had to spend that money on a lawnmower. And so I guess I told a few subscribers, and they said, look, you know, you keep fighting us making donations, please put a PayPal button on your YouTube channel so we can send you some money. And there were several people that did that. It's not like everybody, but it wasn't just one person. It was quite a few people have been actually harassing me over the years about wanting to send me money, and I just always said no. But I realized that, you know, here's the choice. I can not have a YouTube channel anymore, or I can accept donations. So I put the donation button up there, and sure enough, I got more than enough money to buy this camera I'm using right now, along with a bunch of other little knickknacks and gadgets that I bought, and a really, really cool computer. Probably better than any computer any of my subscribers have. Except Ala Toledo. He's probably got something really cool. But I kind of thought, and I knew if I put that there, that there would always be some donations coming in every now and then, but they're pretty much coming in every month. And it's, you know, I get a check from YouTube every other month, because if you're like a big YouTuber, you get a check every month. But if you're a little YouTuber and you don't make too much money, they don't send it every month. They'll send it intermittently. It's really strange how it works out. It's like the months when I don't get a check from YouTube, I always get a check from, and this is not like law, it's not something that never changes, but it just seems like every month when I'm about to run out of cash, somebody will make a donation. And it's not a whole lot of money. I think the last time I didn't get a YouTube check, somebody sent me $25. And I think the time before that I didn't get a YouTube check, somebody sent me $50. And this month I actually got $100. And if you think that that's nothing, because I know some people make a lot more money than that, but if you think that's nothing, I just have to tell you it's life-changing. I mean, I've always had, look, this is just some notes for what I wanted to tell people. See on that side? That's all my notes for what I'm telling you right now, but it's on the back of my grocery list. So it's like cream cheese, PVC glue, cleaning brush, and at the bottom I actually got a lawnmower engine there. But this list has existed forever. For years and years and years I've always had a list. And the list just finally collapsed on itself, because it's like, okay, so if I have a piece of equipment and it breaks, and that piece of equipment is made of 100 different parts, and it's just one part that's broke, I can't, emotionally, it's very difficult for me to just toss that out. You know, I'm tossing out 99 perfectly good parts because one of the parts is bad. It's hard for me to get past that. So I basically am a hoarder until I can get the money to buy the part, the broken part, so that the rest of the parts are once again usable. And so my house has gotten filled with junk from top to bottom that doesn't work. Since I've set up this PayPal account, it's like every month I'm able to get stuff to fix my broken stuff. And it's like I'm completely caught up. There's like right now, the next thing I have to do, I guess, is get up on top of the house, or get somebody on top of the house to replace a piece of tin. You know, it's like, I guess one sheet of tin is like $30, you know. And I say tin, but you know what I'm talking about, metal roofing. But that's something that, it's not anything for me to buy the tin, and I don't know what it would cost to get somebody up there. I can't get on a roof no more. But, like my drill, this is a really goofy thing that you pretty much, sometimes when something very small and very insignificant and very cheap breaks, you still throw the whole thing away because it's just not worth it, and that's by design. But I've got a drill, and it was a really nice drill, and I think I paid like $150 for it. But the battery went bad. And you know, you don't throw anything away just because the batteries went bad, but the battery on this thing is $100. So, and not only that, but the battery lasts long enough for the equipment itself to start wearing out. And even if it doesn't wear out, it's usually obsolete stuff. So I'll go looking, and the battery's $90. I cannot make myself throw this drill away. Well, about a week ago, I threw the drill away. Finally, after I've had that thing sitting in my tool room for 5 years, and it was It was in the garbage can for about an hour before I went and got it out. I just couldn't throw a perfectly good drill. It's an old drill, and I don't know if they even still make these kind of drills, but it's like a DeWalt 18 volt. And back when I was working, I had to have that. In fact, I always carried 2 DeWalt drills and about 4 batteries because I would be going out of state working on people's cars, and I just needed to have that. I used a drill every day, no matter what. But anyhow, I went online and I found out, I guess the patent has run out or something, because back in the day you could only get those $100 batteries, and you could only get them at Lowe's or whatever, and there was nobody making aftermarkets and nobody rebuilding them. Well, I went online the other day, and for $30 you can buy a brand new manufactured battery from a second source. Now, I ordered it. It works perfect. For 30 bucks, I've got basically what to me is a new drill, because I haven't had this thing in my hand in 5 years, and I used it the other day and it was wonderful. So, the only thing different about the battery that I bought for 30 bucks is that the color's a little bit off. I'll be okay with that. So, but see, that kind of stuff is stuff that I couldn't do before because I didn't have this PayPal button. So anyhow, you know, I'm getting a regular little steady, and it don't seem like much, but see that $30 battery on that drill? If I didn't have the PayPal account, there's a very good chance that I would have taken that drill back out and thrown it in the garbage again. So anyways, I just want to make sure everybody knows about that. And please, please, please check out my wife's channel. Please check out, if nothing else, check out the podcast. That's a really cool thing. And you might want to take a look at the PDF files, especially if you've got one of those little machines that you can read books on. A lot of good stuff in there that I think, you know, I always talk about the apocalypse. I don't believe that the world's systems are all going to collapse until Jesus makes them collapse. But in any case, you never know what's going to happen. And if your lights go out, and you've got a little palm reader or whatever they call them, and the thing has, you've got a little solar cell to recharge the batteries in that thing, then you've got an entire library there. Or even if you just lose the internet, you know, if you decide you want to figure out how to catch a fish, and there's no internet, and you don't know anybody that fishes, well, I've got that on PDF files. If you download all the PDF files, you'll have everything you ever need to know about catching fish, cleaning fish, cooking fish, identifying species of fish. All of that is in there. Okay, let me go over my list one more time. Yeah, we got some good videos coming up. Just know that I have a whole bunch of footage that I have recorded over the last couple of months. I have a whole bunch of footage that my wife has recorded over the last 15 years, and all of that is going to show up where you can access it very, very soon, and some of it's really cool. My wife just got finished following me around using this contraption, so if you want to find out what this is, you'll have to watch her video about it. Anyways, we'll see you. Love you. Hope y'all come back. Hope you go to them other sites. And as always, if you don't want to survive, don't listen to me.